And I just want to speak briefly to the role which Wendy Sherman played in the negotiation of two very important nuclear nonproliferation agreements. The first was North Korea. We go back to that time. It was 1994. Secretary of Defense William Perry had sent two options to President Clinton in terms of what the war strategy should be against North Korea. One of them would have resulted in casualties that matched World War I and World War II in William Perry's autobiography. He made it quite clear that this was a very, very stressful time for our country. Secretary Albright designated Wendy Sherman to be the emissary to North Korea to try to resolve this issue. The agreed framework, which was ultimately completed, put the plutonium program of North Korea under full-scope safeguards. It lasted from 1994 to 2002. President Bush named John Bolton as his negotiator on that issue. He took a different path, but for those 8 years, we did not, in fact, have the kind of tension pressure that could have led to war. The same thing was true in 2013 on the issue of Iran's nuclear program. Similarly, Wendy Sherman was designated to negotiate on an agreement to reduce that tension between our countries. We were again on the verge of a military confrontation with Iran. Iran was about 2 months away at that point from having enough enriched uranium for a nuclear weapon, 2 months away. Wendy Sherman played the key role in negotiating that agreement so that we would avoid that military confrontation. And that agreement continued, again, until John Bolton convinced President Trump that he would use a strategy of maximum pressure as an alternative. But in both instances, for President Clinton and for President Obama, Wendy Sherman completed an assignment that she was given to reduce the tensions between two of our military rivals and to avoid war. And she did the job. Now, there can be a disagreement here with regard to whether or not John Bolton had a better approach in 2002 or in 2018. But I don't think in any way we should undermine the overall record of Wendy Sherman and what she did. We should be thanking her for what she did in service to two presidents and to our country. And I don't think there's anything on the record which disqualifies her from this job. And I think, in fact, for President Biden to name someone like this with the background she has, with the experience she has, with the success that she's had, is actually a good sign for our country. And she does deserve an affirmative vote from this committee today.
Senator Markey.
Mr. Chairman, quite a few points have been made on both sides of this conversation. I would propose that we hold a vote and allow people to make additional comments because of conflicts that a number of us have.
If there is no one else, I'll just close by saying I reject the proposition that a vote for Wendy Sherman is a vote for the Iran deal. As someone who vigorously opposed it and went through a lot as a result of it, I can tell you that I do not consider a vote for Wendy Sherman as a vote for the Iran deal. As Senator Shaheen has said, this nomination is far beyond the question of Iran itself. There is actually individuals who have been named specifically for the purposes of engaging Iran, and it is not Wendy Sherman. Secondly, I strongly oppose Nord Stream, and I have supported the senator from Texas's efforts in this regard. But I must say, I think it's not fair to say that you want to lay it at the feet of the Biden administration when for 4 years the Trump administration could have imposed a series of sanctions and acted in a way that would have nipped it in the bud and did nothing. And then lastly, I appreciate Senator Young's comments, and I understand it. I would just simply say that when we talk about raising the bar on behavior, we had a plethora of nominees during the previous administration that far exceeded in their commentary and were approved by this committee of the comments that supposedly are attributed to Wendy Sherman. And I just hope that we can raise the bar on the behavior on both sides so that we can get once again to what the tradition of this committee has been. With that, I believe it's fair to say everybody's had their say. I'll entertain a motion that the nomination of Ambassador Wendy Sherman to be Deputy Secretary of State be reported favorably. Is there a motion? Moved by Senator Cardin, seconded by Senator Shaheen. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Cardin? Aye. Mrs. Shaheen?
Aye.
Mr. Coombs? Aye. Mr. Murphy? Aye. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Markey?
Aye.
Mr. Berkeley? Aye.